Morning guys, GM, and I wanted to kind of do a little bit of a different take for today. Most during the week, I'm trying to get information and trying to digest financial news and headlines, but today, and especially on the weekend, I wanted to kind of slow down, take my time, and kind of sit and what they call slow down and smell the roses. Today I was able to take my dogs. We have two Pomskis, and we're able to take them on a longer walk than I usually do during the week. And so I'd like to take a similar approach to the channel, and then present you guys with some deeper materials, allow me to get some deeper thoughts and some deeper thinking. And for today, at least, I wanted to dive into the specifics of my portfolio, get into the nitty gritty of the things that I'm doing inside the portfolio, and then go over some of the things that I'm interested in. But before we even get started, I wanted to at least let you guys know about me as a trader and an investor. As you'll find out with a lot of journeys and things that you do in life, it's very personal. Personal finance in general are just things that you need to kind of figure out for yourself and tailor for yourself. So I wanted to at least give you guys some background about me as a person, just so you can understand why I'm making some of the decisions that I'm making in my portfolio, and to help you and to give you some insight as well too on maybe how to adjust your portfolio and adjust your financial health. Again, this isn't financial advice, and I don't recommend anybody follow the things that I'm doing. It's really just a snapshot and behind the curtains of what I do and what works for me. Explore, work on things for you, and figure out what you want to do. The other thing I want to do for this is to also give myself an entry, really a journal entry of why I wanted to do this, why I want to do some of these financial tools and some of these updates and helping folks through, is that I want to be able to help folks. I personally think there's a lot of gatekeeping within the financial industry, complex terms, complex structures, and things that make it hard for common people. And I encountered some of the same things learning about it. One of the strengths that I have is that I learn things quickly, and I hope to learn things, boil it down, and present it to you guys in an easy to understand manner. So a little bit about my background. I'm in my early 30s. Right now, I am trained and I went to school for microbiology. I am fortunate enough to have a 9-to-5 job that allows me to do 100% remote work, and then let me explore this journey into YouTube. And currently, for my perspective, I don't have kids, not yet anyways, and I don't have a mortgage, and those things kind of factor into your personal portfolio, and all those things should factor in how much risk you should be taking. Maybe if you have a mortgage, or you have a lot of kids, or you have a kid coming on the way, think about some of the risks that you could be potentially putting yourself into, and understand those risks. I think the biggest thing about some of the financial industry is that everybody shows you how to make money, but nobody shows you how to save money, and nobody shows you some of the risks that are behind some of the things that you do. And so I want to maybe explain some of the risk and explain some of the things within my portfolio and go through some of that. Also, a little bit of background. I am a Vietnamese American. My dad was actually a POW during the Vietnam War and helped the U.S. on fight in the war. In '94, my family was actually allowed asylum and come to the United States, and we've been here ever since. Definitely a very fortunate, and what you'll learn is during finance, there's a lot of luck and a lot of opportunity involved in that as well too. And yeah, just a little bit background about myself, and I hope to give you guys a little bit more of a depth and a look into my financial journey, my financial standings, and my financial health, and to help you guys along the journey. So with that in mind, let's dive into my current portfolio, and then kind of go into the nitty-gritty details of what my portfolio consists of. So I shared this pie chart with you guys on yesterday's macro daily update. I went over at a really high level, and I wanted to spend a little bit more time, at least on today's video, and to explain what are the actual holdings, what are some of the things that I'm doing from my perspective, and then explain to you guys some of the risk and some of the things associated with my portfolio, and then help you guys understand how I take a look at my portfolio. We'll take a look at Bitcoin. It's about, again, I said 50% of my portfolio. I mentioned there's some nuances in Bitcoin and in the BTC that I hold. That's actually currently, most of my holdings are in my IRA, my Roth IRA, and my HSA as well too. After going through a lot of jobs and going through a lot of different workplaces, I knew that as a really good financial advice that I've heard on Reddit is kind of rolling those IRAs over into your own personal management. A lot of the times folks leave workplaces, they leave, portions of their 401k and don't realize that you should be rolling that over into a account that you manage yourself. During when you have your 401k, the company usually takes on a lot of the fees. As soon as you leave, they start charging you a substantial amount of money to manage that money for you. Some of the best advice that I got was to at least roll that over to your own account and to manage that money yourself. Sometimes they make it a really long and lengthy process, and we're jumping through hoops. We're actually going through some of that as well now. And it's just sometimes not an easy journey, but I suggest you going through it because it's really good for your financial health. So there are a lot of other brokerages, and I use Fidelity as my main brokerage. They offer a wide range of different accounts, and they've just made it the easiest. I think I've had the easiest rollover process with Fidelity, and they made it really easy to, they do a lot of legwork when doing the rollover process from my old employer 401ks. I remember a situation where Merrill made me kind of jump through the hoops, made me get all the paperwork and do all that legwork myself to get my accounts rolled over to Merrill. And I did the same process with Fidelity, and it was much, much easier. But back to my BTC holdings, one of my friends actually worked at Fidelity, and they recommended, I roll over my accounts, which I did, and now I'm actually managing my retirement accounts. I always felt that it was a little restrictive of the things they allow you to invest in and the very small subset of funds that your 401k does. I think that works for most folks, but for me, I think that being able to manage and control where my money is being invested and making my money work for me was most important for me. I think if you're starting out on this journey, keep it simple and invest in index funds and go through all that stuff. I'm a little bit further into my financial journey and have learned a little bit more skills. And so my Bitcoin holdings is, as I mentioned, within most of my retirement accounts. Again, some folks might think this is super risky, but I do look at the markets every single day from a macro perspective and from a micro perspective around the crypto space. Most of these investments, I'm in my long-term investments, I'm holding for at least 12 to 18 months is my time horizon. And I pay attention very closely to these funds and what they're doing. Right now, I put all these investments in before the Bitcoin ETF, so a lot of the funds now are in Bitcoin miners that I have. I thought about maybe switching over to the available US Bitcoin ETFs, but I do enjoy the leverage and the return that the Bitcoin miners offer. Some of the risks of the Bitcoin miners is their operational risk. So some of the things is it is a company, unlike Bitcoin, it does have shareholders and it does have a CEO, which does make it more risky compared to just holding Bitcoin. Also, the halving is coming up. I think that is another risk for Bitcoin and the miners is that the return and the amount of Bitcoin these companies will be getting are going to be slashed in half. And so they're going to be getting about 6 Bitcoin versus the 12 Bitcoin they're going to be mining right now. So that does impact their return. And that's why we did the deep dive into Riot. I recommended Riot since they have a really good balance sheet and they've been working through upgrading their gear and making sure that post-halving and looking through the reports, they are suggested or they're looking for better ways to return and operate as a company after the halving. So diving into Solana, which is the second largest holding that I have. It's about 18% of my account. I hold that in Coinbase and I just hold it strictly as tokens. I don't stake it. I don't do anything with the tokens, and then my game plan for Solana as well too, is to hold it for at least another 12 to 16 months and then see how price action and the trend goes. Then the second biggest piece of that is the Solana NFTs. Right now, the biggest Solana project I'm in is Mad Lads. Mad Lads is a NFT project on Solana. It's currently one of the largest NFT projects. It's a profile picture or PFP based project, but they're working a couple of things with the Backpack Exchange, which is a centralized exchange. They actually got released and just actually opening trading for the Backpack Exchange for some states in the U.S. and I bought 11 of them, so I'm gonna start trading and working through and playing around with that ecosystem of theirs. They also have the Backpack Wallet, which they've introduced with their X NFTs, which is basically an NFT with an application and you can interact with it. So again, I think from an NFT perspective, it's usually a game of attention, and they've got a lot of attention, and they are kind of the highest tier right now for Solana NFTs. If I think Solana is going to be doing good, I think that Mad Lads and other folks of the Mad Lad collection is going to be doing well. Putting a more riskier play into this, and I've actually used some of the Solana that I bought for in the lows of the 2023 cycle and use some of that to allocate towards the Mad Lads project. I've actually just watched a Rollovers interview with Amani, who is the co-creator of Backpack, and he was very genuine in working through some of the projects. So I also keep an eye on these projects and seeing what they do from a day-to-day perspective, just to make sure that they're delivering on some of their goals. So moving back over to probably the third largest holding of mine is equities, and it's QQQ. That's currently in my employer 401k and takes about 8% of my account. I fully invested that into it's not exactly QQQ, but it's a part of my plan's growth. That's actually a good segue on why some of my biggest holdings are in crypto and in tech in general. In Friday's Speed Run, which is a weekly subscription and newsletter that Brent Donnelly puts out, he actually goes over some of this and has a chart basically going over the returns and the outlook of crypto and TQQQ, which is a triple leveraged Bitcoin. What he essentially goes into is saying that crypto and tech are twins. It's very similar returns if you look through the years return, but I think he goes on to later say in the article that it actually, even though they have similar returns, it doesn't mean that they're actually correlated. He actually goes into some details of owning both, since Bitcoin and tech seem to be related, but they do rally and they do have different stages where one is outperforming the other. So we'll see as this correlation goes, and I understand why some people do think that Bitcoin and crypto is just a levered bet on technology, and I kind of understand that narrative as well too. And then looking at the rest of my portfolio, I am holding some Ethereum NFTs and also some Bitcoin NFTs. That's just really personal preference. Again, I personally don't recommend NFTs if you don't know anything about the crypto space or the art space. I'm a big art fan. Anything in the arts, movies, music. I go to contemporary art museums. That's why I enjoy NFTs and some of the NFTs and the collectibles there. Maybe as a suggestion, maybe NFTs and art isn't your thing, but I know my little brother collects Hot Wheels and my other brother collects vintage classic JDM cars. So some folks might collect vinyls or collect different wine and different liquors and things of that sort. I think that, again, this is your finance and it's very personal to you, and I don't always think that it's a number goes up kind of game. You got to do things and invest in things that you actually enjoy too, and invest in things that you are willing to hold. It's going to be very difficult for you to hold things that you don't have confidence in, don't understand. My suggestion is, allocate a small percentage of things in your portfolio and invest in that you enjoy, whatever that is, and as you find through that journey. Actually, I'm gonna show you a little description of the project Artifact that I'm taking a look at right now. They've been really cool, and they've been able to create a virtual space, which I really enjoy, and I've been able to go on there, put up my NFTs and actually kind of enjoy them. So, some of the times, some of these I would clump in as investments, but sometimes a lot of people write these off to zeros as well, and it's really, entertainment. And the last piece of my portfolio is trading. Again, I traded a very small percentage of my portfolio. It's actually gotten smaller as the bull cycle has developed. I would say that I was trading, majority, maybe over 50% of my portfolio during 2021, 2022, and into 2023. I've learned during trading that the biggest gains that I made during trading were some of the big turns in the market. So during the last couple of times that I can remember making the biggest gains while trading is during the bottom of the sentiment cycle and the crypto cycle in 2022. That's where I was able to buy a lot of Solana, a lot of Bitcoin, and using some of the market indicators that I had helped me really to fight the sentiment, fight the bad feelings of purchasing something and the fear of that. And I think the last biggest return that I remember was the market turn in 2023 here, or at the end of October was when the market really swung and changed. I made a lot of good trades during that time, and I rolled some of those profits over to Solana, and actually some of the Bitcoin holdings that I have actually grew from doing some of the trades in tech stocks and crypto. That's a current take into my portfolio. I think what I'm going to do is, again, manage it and update you guys as I kind of go through this. I think the biggest event for me coming up is going to be the Bitcoin halving, and to watch the Bitcoin cycle and to see how well it does. And the last thing I want to end with you guys is to show you guys a little chart of Solana. So taking a look at Solana, as I mentioned, I do have a large portion of that, and I saw it selling off over the week. This is due to this 9 sell count, and I knew that it was okay and we're going to see a decline. And now we have a 9 buy setup. Doesn't mean that the price is going to rally up, but technical analysis has helped me sleep better at night and better understand the market and to understand some of my long-term. I think looking at the charts right now, if Solana breaks down below $98, then I'd be more concerned. But I think as of right now, I'm really looking at this weekly chart and looking at my long-term investments just to make sure that I have this and from a weekly perspective. Things are looking good. The charts are in a certain uptrend, and it's going to help me hold my positions and help me hold my long-term investments. So thank you guys for joining me in this deep dive, and I hope you guys have a good weekend, and I'll see you guys next time.